welcome to episode 3 of Pogo Radio. It's Tyrant here, and I'm joined with Drew today.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
And there is a lot to talk about since we last spoke together. And the main one we want to talk about is this data mine that everyone's so excited about, and I'm hoping it's real. Shoot, Drew, shoot. Tell
Yeah, we
us.
got a lot of got a lot of big changes coming here. First of all, Gen 3 sound clips have been seen. The new loading screen, even a new song. If you haven't seen the loading screen yet, you got Bannet, Shuppet, Duskull, Dusclops, Sableye, stuff like that. New Gen 3 Pokemon. This is hype. This is this is what we've been waiting for, Gen 3, and it looks like it's coming this Halloween. I mean, it's a new loading screen. There's a new Pokedex badge, like the Johto and the Kanto badges. There's a new badge for entries for Gen 3. So, I mean, this is all easily pointing towards that Gen 3 is coming out Halloween. I'm sold on it. I'm a believer, and I'm very excited to get going.
Yeah, it was one of those things that everyone's been speculating. We even talked about it a little bit last time. Is Gen 3 going to come out this year or anything was going to happen? And as time progressed with everything with the legendaries lately, it felt like it was always going to get pushed and probably till next year. But with this latest data mine and now knowing that some of the art and some of the audio cues have been added to this, ooh, I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
definitely. The player base, the game, just kind of. I know I'm not the only one that thinks this. The game grew very stale for a lot of players. You know, they caught their legendary beast already, and then they were waiting on their EX raids, which a lot of people still haven't gotten yet. But
Same.
they got their raids done, and they're just really looking for something new to do. And so I think dropping Gen 3 is not a terrible idea at this point. I mean, it's very, you need to shake it up a little bit. You need to get some of the players something more to do. A lot of players are leveling up quickly and they're looking for something new. And I think this is a great idea to get that started.
I totally agree because, uh, well, lately well, thanks to some of the latest patches they did do, mostly was it patch from 0.771 for Android and 1.471 for iOS. That one was particularly one of their better what is it uh overall environmental patch because a lot of people were having issues rating, and I think that's one thing. It's these issues have been pushing people from playing the game as well, and these little things helps tremendously. Um,
Yeah, Niantic is really going for this raid theme. You know, they're very go out and raid, adventure together. The legendary raids are just the biggest push Niantic has going for them right now. And if your legendary raids aren't working, if players are getting bumped out, they're going to lose motivation. And if you're losing motivation over your biggest target, you know, you're gonna get a lot of players who are very uninterested in the game, and a lot of players are getting lack of motivation. They are okay. I caught one or two beasts. My game keeps airing out on me. This game really, the gym system's too easy. Like this game really isn't worth playing right now. And you see that lack of motivation. So it's a nice improvement. They've done a little bit of patches with fixing the error messages. Error number 2 and error number 29 are the best defenders in the game
oh
because you
God,
can't even
yes.
get the
Oh
gyms done. So
God.
they're patching those up mistakes, and I think that's you know making your game as stable as you can before dropping Gen 3 is probably the way you want to go with that.
True, true. Oh, actually I'm one of those at fault that I did lose motivation during when Entei came to the states where I reside, or both of us reside. I for the first 3 days I tried really hard to go with the raid parties to go catch Entei, and every single time I just had issues. And for the first week, I did not. I honestly did not want to go raiding. I just didn't want to deal with that frustration. And you're right, Drew. There's a lot of people who feel this way, and uh, I recently just caught my Entei, and I'm happy. Not that great, but I'm happy that I have him on my Pokedex. Um, but it's true. It's these little things that they're slowly working through. And I know a lot of people have been complaining about why don't we have trading? Why don't we have PvP? Like, yeah, that's they are fun, but with we should try to fix these small problems from any large issues to come in the future, because now with this latest data mine, we might be getting new Pokemon, and that's another resurgence once again. And like we said before, it's gonna be a massive load of Pokemon. On top of that, a massive amount of legendaries.
Yeah, I think everybody remembers when Gen 2 came out. Just the first day, first couple of days, the servers were just getting rocked. Barely anybody could catch anything. It's Niantic. It's their big obligation. They've got to make the game more stable before doing anything else. They have to be able to understand that, hey, you're bringing in Gen 3. Gen 3 brings in a lot of hype. Gen 3 brings in a lot of players getting back into the game. How are you going to control your servers? How are you going to make sure that everything's going to be for once all those players come back? And how can you control that? How are you going to make it better than when like all the complaining of when Gen 2 came out? They're going to have to focus on making this game as clean and crisp as possible, or they're just going to see the same complaints they got in February at Gen 2's release, and it's not going to be pretty.
True. At least they're fixing some of the in-game stuff, and I'm happy about that. Like that curveball incident. God, I'm happy
Yes.
that's fixed. That's when you posted that up on our Facebook group, I was baffled and a little bit enraged, but I'm glad that's fixed. Yes.
Yeah, shout out to Prodigy's Nation on that, because that was a quality guide, and I was avoiding throwing excellent throws because I couldn't get the excellent curveball in the exact spot I wanted, so I focused on throwing great curveballs. And now that it looks like the curveball bonus is fixed, I can actually load up my excellent throws and feel a lot more satisfied with my catch rate.
I'll stick to hashtag go for greats. I have, but no, yeah, I'm glad that that was actually a couple issues, and the local group I go around did not even know that was an issue, and one particular player who's very active in the group was wondering why, even though they've like kind of nearly mastered their excellent shots, and I was extremely impressed. I was watching them because just like hitting them perfectly. Like, how do you do that? Teach me.
Yeah, some people are
Uh,
fantastic at throwing the ball.
I know. Ugh. But they were wondering why their catch rate wasn't doing so well and why wasn't it registering. And I told them like these little things because they don't. There's a lot of people out there who don't invest time in researching like all this stuff that we're talking about. It's just like, oh, there's a new thing in the game. There's problems with the games. Oh, that sucks. And like it, but once you start digging into stuff, you are going like, there's problems. They're trying to fix them, but if you can search for them, there's people who know how to fix them. Like my raid problem, I posted up in our Facebook group, and uh, I think it was Rick who actually helped me with it because he had the same issue, and he said it was just a timestamp problem, and he said I just needed to restart my phone, and I did it, but it's that thing that just pushes people away. I don't want to keep constantly restarting my phone if I want to do a raid. But yes, we these these in-game fixes is what we need now. Content slowly coming out. We have a ton of raids still to go. We're missing a couple of legendaries. You know,
Yeah, yeah. That is that is a very unpopular opinion I have. I'm excited for Gen 3, but I wish they would have saved it a little bit longer. I said in our last podcast that Niantic has bought themselves a lot of time before Gen 3's release, and honestly, I know this is a very unpopular opinion, but I feel like they're releasing Gen 3 a little too early. We haven't gotten more EX raids for Mewtwo. We haven't gotten more of those. The beta testing I know is still going, but we haven't less than even if you release Gen 3 at the release of the last rotation of the Legendary Beast, like, we're probably going to get Gen 3 before Suicune comes to America here. And I just really wish you would finish each region at a time before bringing in a new one when you need some sort of emergency hype. You know what I mean? So, it's just very. I just really wish they would finish the generation before they moved on to the next one. I feel like they're releasing it a little bit too early. They have a lot of content they could have sat on before releasing Gen 3, but it just seems a little too preemptive to me.
No, I totally agree because oh, I didn't feel that bad because Mew wasn't out because Mewtwo wasn't out when they released Gen 2, and I was pretty fine with that. Um, but now that Mewtwo's being sent out as an EX raid, which I'm still a little salty that I can't find a gym to go get him at. Besides that, um, it's true. We need to try to get Ho-Oh out there. Celebi. I have a strong inclination that Celebi and Mew will be released a little later after Gen 3
Yeah,
has been out for a while.
I
Since
think
they are
those are
mythic.
mythical Pokemon, which I have no problem. You don't see Mew, we don't see Celebi. I'm okay with those Pokemon. That makes sense. People get mad about that. No, like, mythical Pokemon makes sense to not see, but legendaries, get the legendaries done first. There's a reason, like, you weren't able to obtain Mew or Celebi without a glitch in the first series games. I like that we don't have access to Mew or Celebi yet. But the legendaries that you could get in gold and silver, red and blue, stuff like that, please get those done before moving on. Please get your regions done before moving on. And I'm still, I'm one of those, I'm very guilty of this. I have been craving PvP. And I know there's an article written that we're probably not going to see PvP until 2018. But getting PvP with all of Gen 1 and Gen 2 done, that's the way I would have gone with it. I know there's a lot of programming that goes into it, but I was one of the PvP rats. I really want that first, but it looks like we're going to be getting Gen 3.
No, I totally agree. That's kind of where my original intention was when Pokemon Go first came out. I knew it wasn't going to be like the main stake in the beginning. Just going hunting and finding them was initially what I wanted to do, but you know, having that PvP status was always in the back of my mind, and coming from someone who for at least uh, it's sad to say it, for like 7 years was a hardcore uh, Game Boy game enthusiast and literally egg farmed a bunch of Pokemon just to have the best stats, the best moveset, and like, oh god, so many wonderfully wasted
Yeah, Gen
hours
1.
gone.
Yeah, those
I still
two. I
have
mean,
them all
I've
though.
talked about in the last podcast how Gen 1 and Gen 2 or how Gen 2 is really an extension of Gen 1. I just really associate Gen 1 and Gen 2 together. If they would have just layered everything down, given us all of Gen 1, all of Gen 2, I mean, except Mew and Celebi, and then launched PvP trading, and then kind of started a new chapter going into Gen 3. Kind of how they did with the release of the Game Boy Advance and how, like, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby Sapphire are on the same Pokemon timeline. They kind of started fresh by releasing those games for the Game Boy Advance. I really wish they would have incorporated that into Pokemon Go and then giving us trading PvP before hopping into Gen 3. And I know I keep saying it, it's an unpopular opinion. I know I'm going to get roasted for it, but I really wish we had some other features before giving us Pokemon from the Hoenn region. But
True, true. But you know, we're kind of more the I would say the 50%, the hardcore,
I'd say
besides
so.
the casuals. But you know, it's like Niantic should be able to at least understand that. Yes, you are feeding to the casual, and yes, they want content. But you should at least they have been listening to a lot of the other content makers online, and I'm actually pretty happy about that. When they first were announced that they are working and they are listening, they do listen, but now well, we have a voice into
Definitely.
them
And I think
a little bit.
I
I'm
think do you follow, generally the new Twitter page they have, the Niantic Help Twitter. I follow them. There's been they've replied to a lot of different things. I remember that original Dawn fan picture where the guy was like, "Oh, can I change my moves?" And they're like, "Oh, we haven't thought about this, but this could be a cool idea." And then we got TMs at raids and stuff like that. They're Niantic is taking the effort to learn what the player base wants. We got the TMs, we wanted to change moves and stuff. They're learning and they're adapting to what the player base wants, and I think that's a huge step. The first couple months of this game, their communication with their fan base was just horrible, but they have been very good about branching out and kind of learning about what their general player base wants, and I think that's exactly what you need from a company like Niantic.
Yes, true. And well, it really any company out there who are really in this industry of people publicly, what's the best way to say it? Not sponsoring, giving out free
Definitely.
publicity to their game. We've been posting to our Facebook groups, to our discords and everything. We really enjoy this game, and we're we're proud to wear our gear and
Oh yeah, all
say
for a
what
free
we
game.
do. It's exactly right. It's I can't really think of any game that I've actively done something above and
I
beyond,
can't either.
really. Like,
I
there's
can't
games
either,
I
especially something
like,
on the scale of Pokemon Go. I
but
can't either.
no, like I'm literally since the game came out, and it took a little while. I was a casual. It was not until like Gen 2 that I literally started wearing my gear, repping InSync, then started working on videos, and now this podcast and talking to all you guys on the Facebook group. I think it was around that time that, to me, like, wow, I've come really far and did a lot, and I'm extremely happy, and I'm
Oh yeah,
hoping to just keep going.
I was talking with one of my friends last night, and we were kind of just theorizing, and I kind of have a little bit of a not a quiz, questionnaire. With Gen 3 coming out, um, how many and where do you think these region exclusives are going to be? What Pokemon is it going to be? How many are we going to have, and where are they going to be located? If you had to guess on the record right now, if you had to guess, where would you say that the region exclusives would be, and how many of them would you predict? It's tough.
Ooh, see. Okay, so region exclusive. So far we've gotten one each in every country. Moving into Gen 3, there's a whole load of new ones, and with these past events, these quote unquote exclusive have been popping up in their non-exclusive areas. I'm gonna have a feeling that at least 3 exclusives per country
Three
will
exclusives.
happen.
Okay, and
Ex-
which
yeah,
ones and where? Which Pokemon and where would they be located? It's a tough one.
shoot, you're putting me on the spot. I need a. Dang it! I
I
need
have
a
a map
map.
pulled up, and I have the Gen 3
Um,
Pokemon. I was going over this last night, and I still can't think of a great answer.
because the way they have it now, it's reasonably good. Kangaskhan in Australia, Mr. Mime in Europe.
It's
That still
funny, yeah.
gets me. That still gets me. Taurus in the North America, Heracross South America.
Nothing.
What's in Africa?
That was one of my big one.
Hmm.
Sorry to I hate to cut you. One of my biggest first ones was
No, no,
Tropius in Africa. That's the first one that came to my mind.
no! Please don't do that. I need Flygon. Please don't.
Tropius is the non-evolution, yeah, grass flying type. Kind of looks like a a long neck dinosaur. He doesn't have an evolution or anything like that. I really feel like Tropius would make a really good African exclusive.
Along the lines like that, I think actually he would have been he would become a second uh, equator exclusive
Yeah,
just like Corsola. That's what I would feel because he is tropical. Huh. Because they could, as Pokemon continues and they start releasing more, like there will be more
it's
exclusives
gonna be
to
tough.
the countries. And I wish we had some numbers because Niantic does have all this data and they know where their player activity is. You know what we should do is in our group we should see how active Pokemon Go is in Africa because we have a lot of people from around the world and uh there's a lot that we get from the States, from Europe, from Asia, the Philippines. We're getting a lot,
Yeah,
and I'm happy to see it. But how active is Africa to
I
be able
honestly
to put
couldn't
an
tell you.
exclusive there? You know, so that's another question: is would they put the effort to put an exclusive in an area where the player base is
Yeah,
to say the to say the least
I mean, we were going over it
lackluster.
last night. For any players that are kind of wondering about exclusives, the biggest rule of thumb that I found that is that region exclusive Pokemon have no evolutions. That's the biggest thing. So if you're looking at a list of Gen 3 right now, you want to find Pokemon that don't have any evolutions whatsoever, or even in later generations. Because well, one of my friends said Roserade or whatever, Roselia, and I was like, no, that evolves later down the road in Gen 4. Nose Pass evolves later
Mm-hmm.
on in Gen 4, I believe, and stuff like that. It's like you can't
Mm-hmm.
use those Pokemon. I mean, you're looking at I got the list right here. I mean, you're looking at Pokemon like uh, Sableye, Wally, or whatever. Those two Ladybug Pokemon. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know if they're Volbeat and Luminize or whatever. Um, Torkoal's another
Hmm.
one. Spinda's very interesting. Spinda has all those combinations of um, dots on its body and stuff like this.
That that's gonna.
Yeah,
I hope they do
Spinda,
something with that. That'll be a fun one to do.
Lunatone, Soul Rock, Kecleon. Kecleon's another interesting
Here,
one.
here's a thing actually. Having the night and day feature on the game visually is interesting, but why haven't they used it to kind of
I
split
know
some
that a
patches? You
I
know,
know that a
do
while ago the splits are there. There actually is a very minute split, but it's not very discernible. I know that Pokemon spawning like Murkrow, Sneasel, and Hoothoot will come out a little bit more at night. That there was an article a couple months ago on Pokemon Go Hub that did confirm that there are more night spawns, but it's a very old article. I mean, it's been proven that there are better night spawns, or that there are difference between night and day spawns. But it was a very old article, and the split
mm,
really isn't that much. So, but I mean, yeah, we got a lot of there's a lot of cool opportunity. I wish they would do that a little bit more. I mean, they have the perfect opportunity right here with Soul Rock and Lunatone. If they do like Soul Rock during the day and then Lunatone at night or something like that, that would make a lot of sense.
yep. Same thing with Volby and
Yes, yes.
its
Maybe
counterparts.
even like
It's
Zangoose and Seviper. Maybe something like a morning night
oh
with those two.
that would be good too.
There's a
That would
I'm
work
sorry.
well because I know they. I'm sorry, but I know they did stuff with the whole phases of the moon, and I was
Yes, that could
extremely
be.
happy about that. Uh, because you always were able to catch Clefairies extremely
Mhm.
well on full moons, and I had tons of them, and I was so happy about that little
Yeah,
nod
just a little tease
of
at
what it
that.
was.
Unfortunately,
Of
I
cat.
live in mountain biome where I'm from, and so I see Clefairies all the time. But I think mountain biome's one of the best biomes in the game, so I can't complain too much about that.
I agree with you. I live in mm, the valley, so probably like
Okay, lots
a
of
forest
grass.
biome. Yeah, so the rarest thing I get, um, I really wish Scythers came out, but no. Um, I think the rarest thing we get around here
Jinxes,
are some
okay.
Jinxes.
Yeah, mountain biomes. I can't complain. Clefairy,
Yeah.
bunch of Nidorans, Geodudes, Larvitars. Yeah, sometimes we get
Super
Dragonites
jealous
too.
right
So I
now.
mean, I can't complain about the biome that I'm currently living in. It's pretty good.
Just doing a 1-2 punch on me, man. Just
Any
1-2 punch.
any last words on
But
Gen
no,
3 before we move on to the other thing I kind of want to discuss?
not, not. I think we hit the point, and
I have
yeah.
I have
Oh
one
God,
more
I'm
thing,
I'm excited.
players. If you have looked at the new wallpaper, be sure to take a look at the hat that the trainer's wearing. I'm not gonna say it looks like a Mimikyu, but I think it looks like a Mimikyu hat. So just kind of take a gander at that.
Ooh,
That's a pretty cool little
that.
Easter egg. Um,
All right. So at that point, I will post a
cool.
photo here.
Um,
Go.
okay, so kind of moving on to some other things that I kind of wanted to address was two different stories. Kind of we talked about earlier, but the EX raids and Ho-Oh. Where are we going with this? Where do you think Niantic is going with their EX raids and Ho-Oh?
So I know they've been slowly rolling out the X raids, and I've been seeing a lot of people posting up photos of their tickets and stuff, and I'm waiting for mine. I'm waiting. But as I think it's a good idea because of not it's the best way I can put it. So from what I've been seeing, we know for the most part which gyms will be EX raids because they're usually the the
Well,
sponsored gyms,
now
correct?
I got my Mewtwo at a raid that it wasn't a sponsored gym. Like EX raids are being handed out to non-sponsored gyms now. Yeah,
Really, huh? I did not hear any news about that. So now I'm a little bit
yeah.
more
A
skeptical.
bunch of raid passes
Huh.
went out to players
So,
at non-sponsored gyms, and I mean, some players in some locations didn't get it,
hmm.
and our place got one. So yeah, it was a non-sponsored gym, so it's uh,
So now going from there, then there are a lot of gyms, and I'm really want to know how their EX raid uh, algorithm works then to be able to say this gym will become the X raid at this time. So whichever player fights at this gym from point A to point B will get a pass. So now that's the issue. That's always been the issue, but when people kind of figured that it was sponsored gyms, you kind of looked around, and if it turned into a gym, you went to it. Hopefully, in a few days, you would beat the raid boss, and then you get your ticket. Ta-da! But now, knowing that we don't know the certainty that it will be a sponsored gym, that it's going to be random. Do we have to constantly fight every single gym in
that's
our
kind of what it
area?
seems to be. I mean, it's what Niantic wants. I told a bunch of my players down here, I was like, look, guys, like we know that these raids are coming every once in a while. Go take on at least one raid. Probably I said one raid every 2 weeks. I said go do a raid at every gym every 2 weeks in your area. Like if you can get to a raid there, get it done like within a 2 week span because you never know if you're going to get a pass there or not. And I'd rather like mine was from a raid. Mine was at like my local Walmart, and I hadn't done a raid there in like a week or so when I got my EX pass, and I was just like, wow, this has been a while. So I told everybody kind of just do at least one raid at each gym every 2 weeks. That seems to be my recommendation here so far.
Okay. because I in the Discord that I'm part of that has my local area team. I've been always asking at least every couple days, did anyone get a Mewtwo raid? And the area I'm living at the moment, or I live like in the Northwest, only Washington and California have gotten uh, Mewtwo's. Sadly, I live in Oregon. Still fun, but I want my
Nothing yet
Mewtwo. I
for you.
want it now.
Well, if it makes you feel better, mine was a
No.
75%. So no, I didn't get one of those too good.
I feel a little better. But no, yeah, it's a they need to just start. I think they just need to have a better way to. They need to let players know a little bit better way to let them know that this area will have an EX raid. Like, have the gyms in the around the area have some inclination that these gyms around here will get a EX
Some
raid,
sort
but
of
you have to
pointer,
battle
yeah.
them all. Like, just having them, yeah, like have them glow or sparkle or something, just to let people know this city is gonna have an EX raid.
Even
Go battle. That'll give players uh, a interlation to go fight this gym, go to this raid, battle this one. I think that actually
even
is a good
if
idea.
Niantic came out and said, "Hey, look, we have done our beta testing. EX raids are officially starting. Go." I think that would fix the problem. I think once Niantic says, "Hey, EX raids, we're done testing the raids. The new EX raid system starts now. Go get them, trainers." I think that would fix all the problems. We've been being told for months, "Oh my gosh, we're testing the beta for the EX raid." Like, once you actually declare that the EX raids are official and that their patterns are official and everything is set in stone, a lot more players are going to be encouraged to go out there and fight more raids.
And that will push kind of the hardcore player a little bit more, and actually
Yeah.
be able to help some of the casuals. And because it'll that's what this is what Niantic should, even though they're catering to the casual, letting the hardcore players know to pass along information a little bit more, um what's the best way to do it? Simple to people, because there's a lot of people that don't get all this jargon from and don't look up information. And just letting your average Pokemon Go player look. If you look at your screen, if said things happening, there's something happening here. Because I knew a lot of people that didn't know that the Equinox event was happening. They were just thought, oh look, I'm getting a lot of Stardust. Yeah, because there's this event. Oh, I didn't know that was happening. Oh yeah, it's a great time to just go doing stuff. It's that that that's what people are. I feel are
Half of that
being
is on the
held back.
player base. I love that the player base can get out there and help out, and we have a lot of more than casual players who keep track of this kind of stuff. But like, even it's kind of on Niantic's obligation to include those in their news feed too. You open your app in October and you get a newsletter from that the beasts are going to be here in September, and it's like Niantic needs to be a little bit more on top of their on top of those newsletters. The section in the game where you can click and like go to news and it shows you like the beasts. You know where that is? Like,
Yeah, and sometimes I forget it's there because it's not like
yeah,
big or anything. It's just like, oh, it just pops up once, and sometimes it just never pops up again, and you're like, huh, there was something there,
yeah.
and it
Niantic,
just goes over your head. There's a lot of mobile games that push the news thing into your face. I do play a lot of other mobile games, and when you load into a screen, it literally shoves news into your face, and it bugs me sometimes. But sometimes I want to know that, and I don't want that level of in your face, but an idea that of there's something happening.
yeah.
Just check the news
I
really
mean,
quick.
even a
Something.
one-time push notification to be like, oh, the Fire and Ice event, oh, the Equinox event, like a one-time push notification to show you all the details of the event, even the link to your URL to your website. Like, if you want to find out more about this event, go to here. putting on events is the flip of a switch. They can do the same thing with the newsletter at the exact time that it's starting. Keep even your casual base, keep everybody in the know, keep everybody involved as to what's going on.
Yes, that's probably one of the best things we've said is communication is literally the thing that's gonna
Definitely.
hold this game together. Like, yes, you can fix things in game, but if we're not communicating with each other, with the company, the game's just gonna go into its own. I don't know how to best say it, but just kind of fades slowly, and it it's. I don't want it to just be one of those bad games out there. It's like a lot of people see it that way, and it's really disappointing because there is a lot in it if you put some effort and talk to people and just
Yeah,
have
there
fun
is.
with it.
Niantic got handed a present with a bow wrapped on it. They get the luxury of dealing with a game that is already so much popular, like already so popular before they even got to mess with it. The Pokemon franchise is a league of its own. They get the benefit of the doubt of being able to use that game. And so it's once you get that power comes with great responsibility. You got to be in communication with your fan base. You've got to do the little things that the player base expects you to take care of. You got to be involved. You got to fix these bugs. It's stuff like that. There's a lot of not to dismantle Niantic's efforts here so far, but there's a lot of responsibility that comes with being the owner of a prestigious game like Pokemon. There's a lot of obligation that goes with it, and I think they're making good steps moving forward in how they're communicating with their fan base.
True.
I
Better
appreciate
words
that.
were never spoken. But yeah, that's kind of all we wanted really to talk about. Is there anything else
Nothing,
on your
nothing. What
mind?
what new stuff have you ran into this week? What new stuff is?
Hmm. So I've been a little bit more active lately. I found surprisingly a ground Pokemon biome near my workplace. So during lunch, I just walk over and catch surprisingly Diglets and Cubones because I don't have any of those, and I just like
Nice.
having some candy of them. But I was extremely happy that I was able to get enough Stardust from the Equinox event. I like, whoa,
Yes,
I'm
very
ready to
solid
power up
event. That
Pokemon
was
soon.
that was an amazing event. That was players even from the Chicago event, players were begging for Stardust, and so hosting a double Stardust event was just that was a great idea on Niantic's part.
Exactly, and like they're like holding that as, ooh, man, it just sometimes they just go
Yeah,
so fast
yeah. That week
sometimes.
that week was a pretty quick week, but lots of catches, lots of hatches, and got a lot of work done in that event.
Hmm. How about you? Any fun adventures you've had lately?
Well, I mean, it's been crazy with that. I got that Mewtwo. That was pretty awesome. I think I don't know if I posted the video on the Instincts page. I might have to do that. Did the Mewtwo raid with a bunch of friends. That was pretty awesome. I am on the way to getting level 40 done again. I just hit 34 million total XP, and that's about so that would be so minus 20 million. That would be about 14 million total XP. So I'm almost hitting level 39 again. I want to hit level 40 again by the end of the year. So I'm kind of getting back into the grinding role.
Hey man, that's what's gonna keep us until
Pretty
they
much.
level cap us next.
Well, that's about it for me, though.
You know. All right, guys. That was that was episode 3 of Pogo Radio. I'm glad you guys were able to listen. We'll be actually opening up our Discord so you guys can actually chat with us and give us any news or adventures you guys have been having lately. The link will be in the description. You guys are welcome to join and chat with us. Um, so thank you. Until
Take care,
next time.
everybody.
Bye, guys. And hello there, and thank you for listening to episode 3 of Pogo Radio. And we are now trying more than ever to try to provide everyone with content as best we can, and we have been growing our numbers ever so slightly. And the only way we can really do our best and is for you guys to help us by liking and sharing this video with every Pokemon Go trainer out there, and letting them get enlightened as well. It would we would really appreciate it. But for this episode, we actually added a new member to our squad. So let's get on with the next part. And hey everyone, we have a little bonus spot now. We have a new member to add to our Pogo group. We have Phil. Phil, tell us a little about yourself.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I am from the Northwest, and I moved to St. Louis, and I'm down here leading a community of Instinct players. We have done a lot of amazing things in our community, like charities. We're on our way to start a nonprofit, a lot of crazy things, over 100 people, and our 1 year anniversary for our Instinct team. I'm very hyped up towards working with everybody, including further alongside this leadership team, and I'm very excited. And that's a little bit about me, Pokemon career-wise.
All right, dude. So what we always do is like what got you started with the Pokemon franchise?
Okay. What started with the Pokemon franchise was I was wondering what the hype was about when I was in grade school, um, and I wanted to be part of it. Something that was exciting, something that was fast paced, something that was competitive. And I received my first Pokemon card, I believe, was a Charmander, and I got it for free actually, and I will never forget that. And that really helped me see the community starting when I was young, and I got addicted to being competitive, so I bought more cards. And before everything got to where I wanted it to be, it was gone, and I was disappointed. But now it's back, and it's back in a more, I guess, like
Competitive nature. Yeah, I've been I every year I watch the Pokemon World Championships.
yeah, like Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go came out, and I'm just really, really excited.
No, and I'm glad there's not a lot of quote unquote hardcore people out there, but it's fun to meet them who have put so much work as you have into the community and trying to help everyone out. So I'm glad you're joining us, man.
Definitely, and it wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the wonderful people that support the team and support the cause of what we do, and definitely, I
All right,
want
mad respect with
to
that.
sure.
So, have you been keeping up with all the news and all the hype that's just around the corner, apparently?
Yeah, Gen 3, I believe it's coming out, and I think they're gonna hold back the legendaries. I know this is very business model. Um, I'm very familiar with this business model, and it's very safe to say that we saw some of the things that happened in the past, and I can't wait to get a Mew. I got a Mewtwo, and Gen 3. I don't know a lot about it, but some things that do worry me is that when I go into the unknown with something that I'm not very familiar with, I'm afraid I won't have any interest. Though I know that I have a good group of friends that will, just go into it, and I think it's really exciting when you don't know all of it, and just it kind of gives you like a reset button, so that you're able to enjoy what you're gonna do anyway, and that's what Pokemon is about. And I really want to hit the gyms, so no matter what Pokemon in the gym, Gen 3, Gen 4, bring it on. I'm gonna take it out with my Gen 1, Gen 2. So, um,
No, I hear you, man. I hear you, and I'm ecstatic. I'm really hoping Niantic makes it official and lets us know that Gen 3 is coming out. Even though currently it's just been data mine information, but it's out there, and I'm really hoping it's real, man. Because from what we've been feeling, it's like we everyone's been talking that yes, we want it now, but it keeps feeling it's gonna come out next year, and it's a little disheartening, but I kind of do want it now because the way the like I was speaking with you earlier is the Pokemon community for the most part as casuals, it's kind of been dying out, and that's what Niantic's been trying to really push forward is for casual players to be a little bit more active with this raid with the EX raid system. So I'm hoping Gen 3 will once again revamp everyone to play again and let them know that there's other things besides new Pokemon. There's these raids and stuff like that.
oh yeah. Oh, we got
Yeah.
through. We got line. And I fully agree with that. I fully agree with that. Um, I do those things too, and I'm doing my best to make sure that my community is making sure that we are also catering to hyping it up for the casuals, reaching out. We have a reach out program. Um, when the months are dry, it's away from holiday. We do at least 200 to 500, 200 to 250 people
Mm-hmm.
in a monthly basis, so that and this is through Facebook, so that we are able to receive the feedback, check up on them, things like that. It's kind of like church in a way, but it's kind of strange that I'm doing it. But yeah, that's what we've been doing to make sure our community continues growing.
Exactly, dude. It's that community that we really need to keep hold of, and let them know that we're out there. We're trying to play.
Because it's nice and fun going outside. Whether you're driving around for a nice cruise or just a little walk, it's definitely refreshing. It beats being inside watching Netflix, whatever it is, playing computer games, anything. Just inside is something that kind of got old to me, and I just wanted more adventure in life, and this game it certainly does provide me in that area, and it's making me really happy.
That's true. What have you had any fun adventures lately?
Um, Recently, I found my girlfriend off of Pokemon, which I never thought of. Uh,
Wow,
During
props, man.
the Go Fest, I found this girl named Call Me Ling. They call me Ling, and she had the same setup as me. With my account, they call me Phil. And I was trying to search for her. Actually, I wasn't the one that found her. It was my friends that found her, and it was a screenshot in the game, and they sent it to me, and they're trying to help me find her for me. And this during the Go Fest, and it was pretty crazy because no one had like a setup like that I saw, and I thought it would be fate to see her. But you know what? Um, I found a girlfriend that's on the same team here, and I took her to a couple places. We've been eating. She's been very supportive, and that's the type of thing that continues to further encourage me playing this game. So that's something that's really exciting. All these things, working through challenges with the leadership team, working with the casuals to see what their need and desires are, and things that continue to push us to the next level. So I'm pretty excited with that.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly actually what we talked about. It's this game that's really changed us. We're pushing the game. We're making this game our own by experiencing new things that we didn't think we were gonna do before. Like I was saying a little earlier, is that this has been one of the few games I've ever really put more effort and gone above and beyond just the game. You know, I've gone and actually created a podcast for this thing, and I've talked to people from around the country and around the world just to enjoy stuff like this. And it's crazy to think like I would never have imagined me doing this, or like it's crazy, man.
Oh, thank you so much for even thinking of that idea and making it happen. There was times where it used to be very competitive when I had a chance to be in competitive sports, and now that I'm kind of out of that, I guess timeline, this certainly gave me
Not a single fuck was given this day.
a chance to get right back in. So
But no, yeah, I'm happy where we were able to surprisingly meet. Just like I've I've been lucky to meet everyone in our instant group right now, and well, it's been it feels like we've known each other for a long time, but it's only been a few months. And talking to you, it's kind of the same thing. It's we have already an idea of what we enjoy and stuff like that. It's just fun to get out there and actually physically talk with people, you know. And it's been a long time since a game has done that. And props to Niantic for reaching out to Game Freak to get the license for Pokemon
no,
to design this.
I,
But they do need to fix a couple things.
it's I think using our instincts will always overcome, and that's the best part.
There you go. There you go. You have it, man. You have it. Has there been? Have you had in the last since the? I think the last update was when Entei came to the States. Were you having any issues? Because I was having raid issues. I honestly, for like 4 or 5 days, I did not go out raiding for Entei because every time I entered a raid, it kicked me out, and it was extremely frustrating. Just trying to do it. Did you guys or anyone around you have that issue?
Ente. As far as I know, it was only hard to catch. There was in the beginning where I guess they were transitioning to Ente, and Ente popped up that there was some screen glitch that was either blue or white or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what was happening.
And for me myself, my device is the iPhone 7, and I have no issues. I believe previous models or other models other than iPhone 7 or other phone devices may have issues, but I think they have done a really great job in keeping this stable on the most recent device that's out. Well, the iPhone 8 is out now, but I'm I'm pretty happy I have the iPhone 7 and not any other I guess devices.
No, yeah, actually, I knew a friend who was, let's say, quote unquote, rocking the Samsung 5, and I think it was about 4 months ago, and I think that was around the time raids were starting to pop out, and her game was updating, and it would not let her because apps these days are just too big to be running on some of the older model phones,
Oh,
unless that's the only app you'll be running.
and it's gonna get bigger just with that next update. And
Oh God, yes.
but
Is there any Pokemon you're excited to catch from Gen 3?
Gen 3, I want some of those legendary things. It's not as special as the first generation or second generation. They were more iconic to me. But
Okay.
I think that green dragon, that's not part of it, right? That green
Rayquaza? Yes. Rayquaza is part of the. So
is it
the thing about Gen 3, it has the most legendary count out of almost any generation.
really? I did not know that. That's good to hear. I'm gonna
Yes.
that to let my people know so I can hype it up.
Oh no, yeah, so we counted there are, let's see here. I think if I remember right. So you're going to get Kyogre, Groudon, Regirock, Regice, Registeel,
Oh, those
Rayquaza, Deoxys, and it has 3 forms. It's official. They have 3 forms. So that alone is 4. No, sorry, I can't do math. 9. That's 9 legendaries added to the game.
Wow, that is,
So
that is crazy.
so the next generation will add 9 gyms on top of all the new Pokemon that will be coming out.
Man, I'll definitely
So
nine. That's crazy. A lot of my people don't know that. A lot of us are, just I guess. Wow, that's awesome. I'll definitely use that for leverage.
so I know, right? It's crazy, and it's just gonna get even better once more generations come out and new things like that, man.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to talk about?
Um. Uh. uh Towards the community. Yeah. I just there was something that I wanted to do before I got into this group as a moderator. I was building connections and relationships with um, instincts nationwide and some worldwide. One of the things that I was trying to do was to do promotions through my promotions page so that we could exchange content so that people in the local area know that, hey, whatever team they're in, their promotions page will kind of strike up, hey, Pokemon Go Team Instinct is doing this in this area, right? So that's what
Mm-hmm.
thing. I got Mystic people on my page, on a fan page, basically, with it being promoted, and they're like, man, I'm on Team Mystic, and I wish this was um, my team page, but I wish I could change teams. I got several people that want to do that because I see so much community, and we're able to push the ad outside of our closed page because we were able to connect both of them and to kind of fully utilize it because we were working with the SEO to kind of maximize on getting our awareness out there and that we're growing and we don't slow down. So we reached out to Sweden and Stockholm. We exchanged contents with them, and those were the very first ones to actually work with us, so that they could do that. So that our area doesn't only see the scope in their own world is that what they're limited to, but they also see what's out there. And they were really shocked that there was people in Sweden, Stockholm, that was doing community things like we were doing in the local area. And it wasn't just us, or it wasn't just me being hyped up about getting group pictures together. So it was other places too. So it was really nice that they had a chance to kind of open up their vision and the scope, kind of expand a little bit and see what's the possibilities out there when they are traveling or when they're even at home, just watching, people doing progressive things on our team from different parts of the world. I try to build relationships, and I encourage this for everybody to build relationships with, no matter where you go or travel, get onto an instinct page in that local area, talk to somebody that's active, and if they're not, at least try. And I know that they're very active, and just make sure that you connect because ideally what we want is to have a network of instinct leaders and kind of have like an escort type of system wherever we're going. So that'd be really nice to have. Hey, you go here for playing Pokemon. This is the best place for playing Pokemon. Things like that. And we actually did an escort type of system where we had people from Oklahoma, Michigan coming down here temporarily, Arkansas in the Midwest, and Illinois too, Southern Illinois, Central Illinois as well, to be escorted around in our popular places to go dining, play Pokemon, activities, recreation, things like that, with Pokemon included. And we've made a lot of people want to move to St. Louis just for that specific reason. We've got things pretty, that's really good down here. And I encourage everybody to kind of emulate or do the same or even go bigger. The possibilities are endless.
Dude, you're doing an amazing job, and you're right. Talking, connecting, that is the best way to start this. And honestly, you're right. That's why I am that's why I am and doing what I'm doing here. I was able to connect with people, and here we are. There you are. It just happens, and you're right. That's another way to do it. You're not only showing people Pokemon spots, you're showing them the actual area, and that's actually a wonderful idea. You're showing them the environment, the activities. That's sick. I props to you, man. Props to you.
It's all the community. They just come together and ideas get created, and they explode into another idea, explode into another. It's pretty wonderful when we have that type of momentum, and then the right type of people to actually have that support and kind of like share the amazing things to kind of widen their perspective, and that's the amazing part. I love that.
I totally agree, dude. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see. Um, you know, I think reaching out to cities of different instant groups, that would be really nice too. If we could get that on the timeline, maybe have a feedback box. How our what kind of things do they really want, the community really want in their area? Do they want a structure so that they could be as active as certain parts of the other country? What do they really want?
That's true. That's good to know. Actually, for anyone who's listening to this at the moment, if you have any questions or any idea, just leave them in the comments below, wherever you're watching this on Facebook, on YouTube. Just leave it in in the comments, and we'll read them and we'll answer them for the next episode. That's one way to do it.
And yeah, I thank my community. I thank my leadership team. Thank my leadership team with this Team Instinct Worldwide group. And definitely we're going to have to catch up and beat Mystic in their numbers. And if it's not numbers, it could be a lot of content. And I encourage everybody to continue posting what they see, AR pictures, everything. We could blow things up. Hashtag Pokemon Go contest along with Team Instinct next to it. We know who's representing worldwide. And definitely props to these guys. And that's all I have to say.
There you go. I think we'll end it there, and thank you, Phil, for joining us today for this little bonus part of the episode 3. You are doing a lot of good work out there, and I'm glad you have joined us in our squad to further put more information out there and letting people know and letting them have another outlet for them to give us. So if you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down in the comment box wherever you're listening to, or join us at our Discord that I'll be posting up in the description. Phil, where can they find you?
All right, they could find me on Facebook. We could also connect through that. There's our Twitter as well. I am Team Instinct. And you can also reach out to there. If not, the moderators and admins from this group, Pokemon Go Team Instinct, could also help you on your way. But other than that, that's how you can reach me, Philip Ma with 1 L. And I will make time and just let me know how to correlate that in my schedule. And again, thank you for everybody listening in. And just make sure that you give us feedback. It's the most important thing to improving. And that's what we really want for every community and every person. And thanks, Tyrant. And who the best? We the best.
All right, guys. Goodbye.